Hey there, everybody. Happy Wednesday night. This is Almost Vegan Mom, and I am back on because I was supposed to do my recipe that I have at home on Sunday, and I had a family emergency, and it took me away for actually many days. So all is well, but I wanted to jump back on because I promised I would do the recipe, and it's a good one, and it's a good night to make it. So just for information purposes, because I had this crisis, I didn't make meals at home. I ended up, getting meals out at vegan places, which works, but it's always nice to cook at home. So I'm back. Okay, so tonight my recipe is rather simple. Right now I have some white rice cooking. It's got a little bit more than 12 minutes left. And I'm not going to be the one that tells you, oh, brown rice and, you have to be, really, really, really strict on your vegan choices. So I don't even really eat rice ever. To be honest, I haven't eaten rice. Why don't I say ever? I haven't eaten rice in probably 9 or 10 months. It breaks down into sugar, and it doesn't work well for my cholesterol, as I mentioned before. And the same with potatoes as well. I had a friend come into town, and she stayed with me, and she's a dietitian, and she looked at everything I was eating, drinking, and she was very helpful. And so I stopped the potatoes and I stopped the rice, and my cholesterol improved tremendously. But everything's in moderation, so I am going to have some tonight. So I try to have vegetables with almost every meal if I can, and when I don't have it, I don't feel good. So it's important to have vegetables as much as possible. To get the really good vegetables, I mean, all vegetables are good for you, don't get me wrong, but greens, I can't say enough, are the most high in nutrients, and fresh, of course, and mine are frozen today, but they're still going to do the trick. So one thing I wanted to mention, I did the vegan lentil soup last week, and I used, it called for avocado oil. And so I was like, what's the difference between avocado oil and olive oil that I have? And I was just looking at the ingredients before I came on, and actually there is more polysaturated fat in the avocado oil, and there is more saturated fat as well in the avocado oil, which is fascinating. It does say paleo friendly on the one I got, and it does say it's got the same amount of monosaturated fat, which is the good one. So I'm going to use the olive oil today. I'm not going to use a lot of it, but I'm going to use that. So I'm going to make, I've got 2 pans down here. Let me show you. 2 pans, if you can see that. Hold on. So we've got 2 pans. The top one's mine, the back one's going to be my son's, because I know that he's not going to like all the vegetables that I put in mine. He'll like some of it. So I went ahead and put the pan on very high, and there he is jumping up. So the oil is going to be very, very hot. Say hi to everyone. And I probably don't need as much oil as I put it on. Okay, I'm going to turn it down to low, as you can tell. It is smoking. I'm going to dump a little bit of my oil out because I put a little bit too much in there. I mean, you want to have enough for your vegetables, but okay. So both pans are now on low. Now I'm going to, in my particular one, I cut up fresh organic mushrooms and organic leeks. Now, if you don't know about leeks, leeks are tremendously good for you, and they are known to be cancer fighting. I don't have a diagnosis of that, but prevention, they're just so good for you. And they're in the onion family. So honestly, it tastes like, not exactly like an onion, but similar to an onion. So I cut those up, and then I haven't done this before yet, so I'm going to be interested to see how this turns out. I got organic cut spinach, and I love broccoli, and so does my son. So we got Simple Balanced. I've got 2 bags of it, Simple Balanced. I had half a bag left from using it the other day. So I'm going to go ahead and start with my, I'm going to put everything in mine. And I'm going to go slow because my oil did get hot. So I've got my leeks and my mushrooms. I like the mushrooms. The mushrooms give like a hearty texture to it. You can cut them up big, small, it doesn't make a difference. Okay. And then I'm going to open a new bag of broccoli, and I'm going to put my broccoli in. Now, for this meal, because I've made it many times, you do not have to worry about mixing frozen and fresh together, because it works out really well, because you're going to keep it on low anyways. So I'm just going to mix those all together on mine. And I'm going to open this. Now I prefer, I'm not going to put a lot of this spinach in. Spinach is so good for you. I like fresh spinach. The one thing about, and I happen to be in a health food store, and they wanted like $6.99 a bunch for spinach, and I just wasn't going to do it. So it was much cheaper to do the frozen. But I do like fresh spinach. You do have to put a lot in there because, you know, it's big going in, but you know, it definitely shrinks. Okay. So mine is in here. So what I'm going to do with mine is mine is going to sit, and I'm going to put a lid on mine. And let that kind of just go together. Okay. So my pan is in the back for my son, and he does like mushrooms, but you can hear it sizzling away, and that's with it off. But I'm just going to do broccoli for him today, and he can have some of my mushrooms if he changes his mind. So, I mean, this is a very simple dish. I'm going to get a lid for the broccoli. It has some steam to it. And so, this is a good vegan meal, like a fast meal for a family. And there's so many variations that you can use of vegetables. You certainly don't need to, you know, use what I have. I like the combination of things. And let me mention too that, you know, I'm choosing to have a little bit of white rice tonight. I won't have a lot in my meal. But you don't need to have rice at all. I mean, I'm going to show it to you what it looks like. And it is very, very hearty. This is mine. I gotta master this part, but see, it's very hearty. I know that it'll be good for my son to have rice in his, because, you know, it's not going to be hearty. But as far as mine's concerned, it's a very, very hearty meal. I mean, you don't need, the rice is almost done. You've got 4 minutes left. You don't need a lot. I'm going to actually, yes, honey. Okay. You know, it's been a few days, like I mentioned, and just some tips on, you know, on how to stay vegan when you're not cooking at home. And I'm going to mention a lot of times that, you know, I intermittent fast, so I try to do 17 off with no food. The other day I ended up with 19 just because I was at work and it got extremely busy and I didn't even realize it at the time. So that day I only ate one meal. You know, you just have to try to force yourself as much as possible to maintain that vegan lifestyle. I mean, there is room for cheating. I'm not gonna come on here and say that, you know, that it's a perfect thing. I mean, if you read Blue Zones, which I'm gonna be getting their cookbook soon, but I read all the research that he did, and it's absolutely fascinating. And basically everything that was in common. There was only like one tiny town in California in the United States. The rest were all in Europe. Was that they all led vegan lifestyles and they ate dairy once a month. And they drank a lot of red wine. And was his research is what areas of the United States and the world through the census live the longest. So if you haven't looked at that, you definitely want to, you know, check that out because it's just interesting as well. So, you know, there's lots of ways to figure that out. Today I purchased something different, and I'm excited to use it. So it is a jar. It's glass. It's a salad dressing mixer. What's great about it is not that it's just a salad dressing mixer, is that it's giving me all the ingredients on what to do. So if I want a vinaigrette, I'm going to put in salt, paprika, mustard, black pepper, garlic clove, olive oil, white vinegar, and lemon juice or water. And it tells me how much to put in, and then you just shake. And it says balsamic vinaigrette, honey mustard, Asian Caesar. Obviously, actually for the Caesar one, it doesn't even say anything about anchovies, which is fascinating, which is good. French, Greek, Italian. So that's perfect for me because, and you know, anybody starting out, I'm not starting out, but I'm starting out with like cooking. That's actually good because then it makes it much easier. So you could bring, like if you ate lunch, if you didn't fast like me and you ate lunch, you could easily like put tomatoes, cucumbers, cut up if you wanted to, like a big bowl, or even add, you know, whatever you wanted to do for your salad, you know, as long as it was vegan. And then you have your dressing there, and then, you know, it's easy in that it's an easy snack or something to make. Okay, so this recipe, it's been simmering just for a few minutes, and my rice is done. So I'm going to shut it off and shut the timer off. It only had 37 seconds. And it just calls for simple salt and pepper. Now, I've been doing this recipe for a long time, so personally me, I don't need to keep, you know, once I put in my salt and pepper, I don't need to keep seasoning. And I'm just going to mix that together. And we're going to do salt. And I was just at the store and I meant to get the coarse salt. This is the fine salt. You know, one thing about salt is, we all know, is that you want to be careful and you don't do too much because it's hard to take back. So I think that's going to be enough for me. Now, this recipe, let me just go back there. Let me put my lid on for a few more minutes and let that kind of absorb into the vegetables. Back here is just my son's broccoli. And I'm also going to do salt and pepper for his. It's just broccoli in a pan, so it's a little bit different. But, and I need to turn it up a little bit because it's not really, yeah, it's still hard. So you don't want to put your salt and pepper in until it's a little bit more soft. Okay, so let me mix mine again. I just turned it up in the back. Let's see how we are with my, yeah, okay. Mine has to marry a little bit more. I'm going to turn it up a little bit more. Let the steam cook it too. This is my white rice. Got a lot of steam. I did 2 cups of rice, 4 cups of water, so that, and in case we wanted extra, we would have it. My son wanted extra. Okay, so basically, what happens with this meal, and I actually want to see it through today with you, so because I want you to see what it looks like. I'm going to go grab a plate. Put my son in a bowl, but I want you to see how pretty. I mean, it's good appearance. So if you want to give somebody, you know, if you want to make it for somebody, you know, it's a pretty plate because you have your rice and then you'll see all these vegetables. And so the real secret to this, I'm going to put some salt and pepper on this broccoli in the back for my son. He likes salt a lot. Okay. Alright, his has got to cook a little longer. I turned his up. I'll mix mine in here. Mine's cooking away. So when your broccoli, so these are big broccoli pieces in here. I'm just cutting them up with my spoon so they'll cook quicker. So by the time, what's great about this meal is that you don't overcook your mushrooms or your leeks because they're fresh and the other ingredients are frozen. And they just complement each other very well. And so by the time your broccoli is soft and ready to go, then, you know, your broccoli, your other ingredients will be, you know, nice and seasoned and cooked. So I'm going to go ahead and scoop some of the rice in on my plate. And then I want to get a bowl for my son, but I'm going to do that in a bit. So I just want to, actually, I'm not going to eat that much rice. Okay. Alright, so I have my rice on my plate. I'm going to cover it up again so that the steam stays in. And the secret to all this is not the full recipe. So it's not like, oh, I'm just going to put salt and pepper in, and no. So I'm using soy sauce. Now, normally I would use the low sodium, but I don't have much left, so it's going to be mixed with regular soy sauce. And so you don't want to put it in too soon, okay? Because it's not going to, it's going to burn off, and it's not going to taste great. So mine's been going for a while, so I'm going to go ahead with my soy sauce and use the rest of this bottle. It's empty. Away. And I'm going to use just a little bit more, and that's it. Well, I just got a whiff of that, and I can definitely smell the difference between the low sodium and the not sodium, and the one that doesn't have low sodium. And it's very strong at first, but that's why you just want to put it in when you're maybe 10 minutes or so from your meal finishing. Okay, so my temperature on mine is, it's like a medium to low temperature, and in the back I put it up to medium for my son for the broccoli in the back because it was having a hard time cooking. So I'm gonna put, let's get in there, yeah, that's good. So I'm gonna go ahead and put some soy sauce on his. He loves soy sauce. He eats soy sauce on his eggs. And so I'm gonna soy sauce that up for him. I think he'll enjoy that a lot. And I'm gonna put the lid back on. Also, one thing that I'm eating is drinking. Let me shake it up. I love probiotic drinks, and I also take 2 probiotics a day, 1 in the morning, 1 at night. It's good for your gut. This is a non-dairy one, and this is one that doesn't have any tea in it. So those are hard to come by. A lot of times they will be filled with a lot of caffeine, and so that can be challenging. Okay, I'm going to turn mine up a little. I'm at the end of my meal. And I mentioned this before, but if you have, recipes you want to share, we can do recipe sharing, and try it out. That would be great. Okay, mine's going to be done, and I'm going to shut mine off. And I'm going to scoop it on to my rice so you can see. And you will see, this is hearty, and so with the rice it's hearty, but it's hearty on its own. So, you do not, absolutely not need rice for it. It's hearty. So I'm going to switch spots for my son's broccoli because the burner in the back is smaller. And so I want to make sure his is good. Okay, so I'm going to show you what mine looks like. Let me see if I can clean that down. And I'm also going to take a picture of it. I'm going to get a tripod for this camera. But I'm going to take a picture of it so that you'll see it too. So there it is. You can mix it in good with your rice if you want. You can, by all means, use brown rice. I never took a liking to brown rice. No big deal. But it would, if you're used to that flavor, putting vegetables on it is going to be great. And like I said, I have leeks because I'm into leeks now, but you can put onions. So like if I haven't had a leek in the house, I would put an onion. I usually always use broccoli myself, but you could put kale in there, fresh spinach. Oh, cabbage is a good one. I did not have any cabbage, and I forgot to get it at the store. But cabbage is a really good one to get. It's good for your gut. And my son's broccoli is done. So I'm just mixing it up for him. And then it's going to go in his rice, and I'm hoping that he thoroughly enjoys it. Because he, like I mentioned, loves soy sauce. And I'm making his very small because he's into vegetables now. As you know, most kids are not. But I think it's better appearance, and it doesn't seem as intimidating for there to be smaller bits as opposed to bigger bits. Okay, so there's my meal. I'll put the recipe in the comments just in case you decide that you want to make it for yourself. And hopefully I'll be on tomorrow. I'm going to be home for the rest of the week in the evening, and I will try to make something tomorrow. Maybe I'll change it up from dinner. I got a recipe for some vegan cookies for Christmas. Yeah, and I'm going to make some vegan lemonade as well. Well, vegan lemons and vegan lemon juice. So I guess lemonade is vegan, so there you go. Okay, so again, I'm Almost Vegan Mom, and I wish everybody a happy Wednesday. See you soon.